It's not in the... Oh! Why not? These are my favorite shots. Let me just so I can make sure.
What day is it today, Danielle?
Today is Fire Day.
Fire Day?
Yeah, fire.
Fire.
Today is May 6th. It's my aunt's birthday. Happy birthday, JoJo. We are going to Rascals.
Yeah, Happy Rascals Ranch.
Happy Rascals Ranch, a donkey sanctuary.
First, we're stopping by their cafe to pick up
some food and
breakfast
supplies.
burrito and a bagel sandwich.
And some supplies.
Oh.
All right, Sally. Everywhere we go, everyone we meet, we ask 3 questions.
Okay.
Who are you? What do you do? And why do you do it?
Oh. My name is Sally Hall, and I'm sort of the caretaker here. And I have a passion for animals, and this sort of happened because there were animals that needed a place to go. And I first got here with a mare and a donkey, and I'm like, I need some horses.
Yeah.
I'm in all this room, and then they just started appearing. And it was at that time when everyone was getting rid of their horses. And then
why was everybody getting rid of their horses?
Oh, because of the hay, the economy and the hay, you know.
Gotcha.
And then the horses were being rounded up in Placitas, so that's how Clea and I got involved in the wild horse part, which she figured out the numbers, but we have a lot of wild horses. And I do dogs too. I've been doing dogs for a really long time. And I have a rescue group that I work with that helps me with finding homes and that
awesome.
stuff. Yeah. And then it's kind of a lot. We didn't intend to get 10 more horses this year, but we did. Clea's kind of freaking out. Oh, it's too bad.
No, that's what people need to hear. So what can people do to help? What's the best way to help?
Well, donations help, and Clea's a financial genius, and we've kind of done this like Bernie Sanders, like a little bit here and a little bit there.
Yeah,
you know,
whatever you can pull.
And it's always a miracle when we can pull it off. So what I look at it as activism, and one of the things that I heard on New Dimensions, I listen to New Dimensions every week, was instead of being anxious, which we both had to deal with a lot of anxiety, is just look at where you are on the map. And I look at how far we've come in our relationship and in what we're doing. And when people come to our heyday, they're like, wow, you have so many friends and connections.
Mm-hmm. It's easy to lose sight of that, isn't it? When you get into the hustle and bustle.
And it's kind of like a good people magnet.
So how long have you been here?
We think it's about a decade, yeah. So then Clea was in the meantime taking care of my mom for 7 years and needed a place to live when she got back. She was in culture shock. Shock.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I said, we know so many people in Placitas, we'll find you a place. So I called him up and said, the dome's still available? And so he rented it to her. And she'd been living in this nice house, taking care of my mom. So it was a little bit of a shock, or mice, mouse turds all over. But then the wild horses started coming around.
And then she was like,
she got hooked.
Yeah, I can see that. So here's the thing. Are they like overtaking the world or something? Did I miss the memo? Like, why do we need to even herd manage? Are they like too many of them?
Yeah. Well, the land can't
handle it. Yeah. Well, it's because we've taken over.
It's a form of herd management in which, in the bigger arena of things, you can attempt to keep them wild.
Gotcha.
By managing the size of the herd, and they also do pre-selected roundups where in the bigger ones. So that's not happening here. But on the bigger scheme of things, depending on the herd in which you're looking at, then they'll do roundups, or like the BLM is doing, massive roundups of just hundreds and hundreds of horses. How do you feel about that? That's awful.
And a lot of horses. Them in the pens.
So the one they did most recently, they got all these, over 100 horses got sick and died in the holding facility because of a bacterial
virus.
And so then they were feeding them. There's so many of them. They're feeding them with a tractor, and they're using the same tractor to remove the carcasses of all the horses that are dying.
What's the point? This sounds really grim, but what's the point if they're just keeping them in these holding pens and they're all dying because they're in such enclosed spaces, not being taken care of? Why aren't they just euthanizing them?
Because they're not allowed to.
Yeah.
Well then, why is that not illegal?
Because
they're already dying.
Technically,
you're already killing them.
Well, not all of them. I mean, most of them have been there forever.
Technically, they're caring for them.
Yeah.
They're providing them with the bare minimum, the animal control.
Okay.
The same with North Carolina. You can have your dog on a chain outside as long as it's got water.
Kind of like a loophole.
Pretty much. It's a massive loophole so they can get them off the land.
And then cattle can be there.
Yeah. You've been talking about, like, birth control for the wild horses. Like, how does that work?
So you can geld them. Normally, traditionally, horses are gelded.
Yeah.
So it depends on if you're talking about, like, in an enclosed setting where they're not going to be wild again, or in the wild.
I'm wondering in the wild.
Yeah.
How does
so
that
then
work?
Right now, it's a form of herd management.
Yeah.
Where they do birth control. So it's an air dart gun.
Mm-hmm.
With a substance and a needle.
So it's literally birth control.
It's like an IUD,
I thought
but
that
in a
was
liquid.
just like a phrase or a term
that you were using to say you were going to geld the males, because that's the easiest that I can think of.
So it's more expensive and it's one time, but it's also dangerous if you don't have them in hand and handled. And for the wild horses, you would completely disrupt the herd dynamics.
Yeah.
If you geld a stallion and then re-release them. If you're going to geld a stallion, in my opinion, you need to take them off of the range. You don't put them back on the range. Mm-hmm. There's a whole family dynamic, herd dynamics.
Yeah.
And then...
so the easiest way is to get the females with the darts.
And they're pregnant for 11 months. They don't get pregnant once a year. And then they have a baby, and then usually they get pregnant again. They're most fertile when they have that baby. That 10 days, then they get pregnant again. So if you do the birth control, then it just prevents them from getting pregnant for a year.
Gotcha.
So it's once a year. So it's like in the first year you do it, you have to do a booster. So you have to do one and then do another.
So how do you even
keep track of the ones?
How do you manage that?
Because if you can only do it once a year, then how do you...
We do them all at the same time.
Oh.
Gotcha.
Wow. Yeah. That's a big job.
So how do you round them up? Because that's the other fascinating part.
They don't necessarily.
You don't.
They just go out and where they're being fed and they... So we don't do it. The county finally hired a company to do the herd management in which they're going out and tracking everyone and going out and finding them, and then if they can get them in an enclosure like we have set up over there or connect with someone where they go feed, then that's a lot easier.
Yeah.
And then some of them they have to go far out and find them. So they're shooting them and then they're tracking them.
Tracking them.
But for ours, like the group where you did the water, then they have we have them contained already.
Yeah.
And the first time it was easy, but then as the years went on, they got, like the first time he would come out, then they would just stampede.
Yeah.
So because we didn't have a smaller area, it was a lot more work, and he had to come out and like do it again, and then try to get two more, and then try to get two more. But then we finally gelded the last of the stallions there, so then you do one or the other.
Yeah.
And ideally you geld, but it's not always.
I don't know how you keep track of where the hell the horses are.
Yeah.
I'm just like, when you're saying you're gonna corral them, I'm like, how are you gonna tell a wild horse to go there? I didn't even think about how that for
where they go. Yeah.
They're like deer, I guess.
Well, they do come out here. Like sometimes out of nowhere, they'll be behind my house. I'm like, hey,
what you doing? I'm gonna have some pizza. But they don't do anything wrong, right? They don't bother anybody, do they?
No, I mean, what people don't like is that they're destructive to their properties. Like, they eat everything.
They're horses.
Yeah.
With no food.
Yeah, exactly.
This is
all water.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you need help with today?
To help me feed, and then the water tanks down at the Wild Horses are really disgusting.
Oh,
so
cleaning?
I just haven't had anyone around to help me lift.
Empty them, clean them out.
Yeah. That would be a big help.
We can
and
do
then
it.
There's always shit shoveling and grooming, but I also have to go back and check on my dogs after we feed. I have a boarder who's psychotic.
Psychotic, I like that. They're like, food please, now. Food please, now. You ready for food?
Excuse me.
What are we doing, Mimi?
We are filling this jug.
Jug. I don't know, 250 gallons. Peanut, get out from under the car.
50 is like 5.
Much time getting high. Let's find another way. We cannot ride this train. Find us down die. One of life is like a horse love. Fast and moving all the time. Always in the change of our faces and names. Always alive. Right. I can see my brain. It crawls in my body. Tell my mama I'm sorry. And tell the father I need a friend. One can't be happy living this way. Oh, what is in your hand? But I ain't fit to be a slave, the same as me did. Goodbye, my friend, I'm following my way. I can't stand and watch your hand. Shorty, I'm here, I'll see you someday. This whole place for friendship to stay.
We know how sassy horses can get. Hi, you. Look how easy you were. All right, I'll hold. You measure. She shoves in. My horse is
There's some of them that I'll get Everardo to help me.
All right, heart girth times body length divided by 330. Okay. Holy cow. So heart girth times 2 times body length 32.
So I have to measure
The heart girth.
what do I have to measure?
The heart girth, which is to the butt. I'll hold that one.
1 times 2 times 71 times 2 times body length. Wait. This is the body length.
Yeah. I'll hold it up there for you too. Hi. Yes, you're cute. This guy's like, guys, I just want food. I don't know whatever. He's leaning. 33 pounds. Mister, you did not just do that. Yeah, definitely not. You get a treat today, and don't tell anybody. Please don't tell anybody. They know it. They know those white tubes. I don't know how. Yep. Big boy. Oh, what a good boy. Yeah. Oh, it's clear gel. Good boy. He spat some of it. Not a lot. Not a lot.
No, okay.
I always give a little extra because that happens. But then you can use the rest of those on the donkeys because the donkeys don't need as much.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, people don't go over there. The crazy lady has crazy stuff. All right. Definitely on that. Mister. I'll give you your apple. So you get apple? And then he's like, nope. Oh my god, I can't believe the camera stayed. He's been banging this door open.
Bonito.
Yeah, you got
camera.
boy. You got on camera. I know. You busted. Look at him. You're too smart. Don't. Mister, I don't trust you. You bad boy. You bad boy. You bad boy. He's like, oh. Do you want the carrot? Do you want the apple, I mean? There you go. Tell him he's missing out. No, sir, I don't. What's his name? What's the name of the bad one?
Bonito.
He's not bonito. He's malito. Maldito. You maldito. Go over there. She got food. Look, food, stop. There you go. Everybody tune in. Except for Maldito. Te llamo Maldito. Maldito. He's a bad boy. He's such a sass.
Those are going down to the wild ponies?
He's just like the donkeys. What? We're going to do the wild ponies?
Those bales?
Oh, okay. I was just like,
no.
we need sedation for both them and us. Oh, nice. Okay, then let's... Yeah, kind of like the stuff we took yesterday. No. Oh. He's so bad. I can't. He's cracking me up. Yeah, I know he's bad. We know it's the wind, but it's ultimately it's Maldito. Maldito? ¿Te llamas? Maldito. Bad boy. Bad boy.
What does he do? Is he a stallion? Or she's a female? Oh! How did we not get out of that? Oh, and she's like totally like